What it do, y'all? It's your girl MakeupnTravel, and for today's video I am here to do a twist of a video that I have seen around YouTube lately, and a lot of people have really been showing their fall palettes. And I know I've done one like seasonal palette video. I think it was for winter, or maybe it was for last fall. I'll try and find it and link it up for you guys. But in this video, I, instead of wanting to just show you guys fall palettes that I have in my collection, I want to tell you guys the specific shades that are my favorite in my fall themed palettes. So I hope you guys are interested. If you're wondering, I didn't record this. I honestly was not intending to record at all, at least not for this channel, but I really liked how the look came out. This is like a kind of graphic liner where I went from a yellow to a green, and then I also have some grungy greens in my crease and on my lid. It'll all be listed and linked down below. I used two palettes to create my eye look. So that's pretty much that. Earrings wise, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. So I was supposed to have these a couple of days ago, but I finally got them, and they are of course Halloween themed. I would love if these came in different colors. I would be that person to have different colors, especially like if the inside web came in like a bright green. Ideas. I will try and remember to link down below the jewelry. I'm trying to remember to add jewelry to my description boxes lately. I don't think I've actually accomplished it yet, but I'm trying. But yeah, if you're interested in seeing my favorite shadows from these fall themed palettes, let's get into it. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of this sleeve. I'm starting to get rid of all the sleeves that I have for my palettes. Anyways, so this is the Zuri Cosmetics palette. Now, they have recently revamped their brand, so you can now get this palette, and this is what it looks like. It's a really, really pretty kind of sunset ish palette, and very neutral heavy. So for me, this is a very much a surprise that I enjoyed it, but I heard so many people talking about it, I had to give it a try. And for me, there are quite a few favorite shades. I think what I'm going to do is try and limit myself to 2 favorite shades out of all these palettes. And can you guess what they are? They're the yellows. So the one is a metallic yellow. It is called Hibiscus, and the other one is called Sunrise. So, and that's a matte. So these are the two yellows. They're very, very, come on. Every time I do this, I always forget to take off my watch so I can actually swatch beforehand. Okay, there we go. So this is the metallic yellow, and I think this is one of the best actual metallic yellows I actually have in my collection. And then this is like a grungy mac and cheese shade. So these are my 2 favorite shades. I really enjoy this palette. This formula is amazing, and I do want to go ahead and pick this baby up to at least do at minimum a tutorial on my Instagram. I've been really doing more Instagram tutorials. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, very excited to get more use out of this, and just very excited for the brand overall. I'm stupid excited that they are revamping overall, and I can't wait to get some more additional products from them. Next is unfortunately not a palette that you guys can get anymore. And once again, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of the sleeve. And this is the Paulina Beauty and Blush Tribe palette. And this was the palette that really showed me that I need lime greens. Before this palette, I really wasn't checking for lime greens like that. But after this palette, I have. So because of that, I'm going to say that this Friends shade is a favorite, and also Suli. I love the metallic formula that they put in this palette because it's not a traditional metallic formula, especially not for Blush Tribe, which is no longer a brand. They renamed themselves to a brand that I can never remember the name. But this metallics in this palette have glitter flecks in them, so that's why you can see like the silver in there. That's a drastic amount of glitter flecks in this palette. I really love those 2 shades, and I think it would be fantastic to have, and I'm really excited. I will be doing hopefully another look with that. I don't know if I'll ever I don't know if I'll post it anywhere because the brand's no longer a thing and the product's no longer available, but yeah, this is probably the only sleeve that I'm gonna keep because like it's a whole mood. Anyways, this is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. I absolutely loved this palette last Halloween. This was his release. And this is the inside. It's really, really pretty. You get greens and blues down here, neutrals, and then pinks and purples. What is my favorite? I know Mary is definitely one of my favorites. Okay, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna do Mary, and my other favorite in here is Kiki. Just make sure I get enough product. So these are the two shades, right? So Mary is this really interesting multicolored metallic situation, and Kiki is a brown with a yellow undertone. And if you guys know me, and if you follow my channel even halfway, you know browns with yellow undertones are my favorite. And honestly, I was gonna reach for this palette today, but I just wanted to use my Beautywide and my Norvina 3 palettes today, so I didn't. But I will be reaching for this palette very, very soon. And if you guys want to see more looks on here or on my Instagram, just let me know, because this is going to be a palette I will never let go, ever. Honestly, just the aesthetic alone, I can't. Okay, all right. Then we have my Tribe palette from Juvias Place, and I really do enjoy this palette. Very, very nice. You get some neutrals, you get some oranges, and you also get some greens and some blues. I really do enjoy this palette overall. For me, what are my favorite shades? I think Coral, because it's unique and it's like something that you don't expect. I really want to say Ashanti too, but like I don't want to keep swatching browns with green undertones. So if I'm gonna try and like do another favorite, I think I'm gonna go with Sun. And these are two very, very pretty shades. And the shade that I swatched first, Coral, this is like a white with a very strong green undertone to it, so it gives a really nice green flip. Very, very unique. I really do enjoy that palette and those colors. Keeping it pushing, we have my Foiled Rose palette from Luxe Beauty. Now this palette has been through some things. I think I've dropped it once or twice, and it's recovered but not fully. So this is the inside of it, and I really enjoy the formula. I know some people have gotten other palettes and they haven't enjoyed the formula, but I really do. And for me, the shades that I really love to reach for from this palette is this pinky matte and then this like goldy bronzy situation. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these two. And this is what they look like. And I said goldy bronze. This is definitely more of a copper. I don't know what I'm thinking, but those are the two shades. This copper is literally pretty much the only shimmer that I use every time I reach for this palette, and I reach for it for like I literally reach for this palette for that shimmer. It's a beauty. It's a beauty. Okay, so then we have my Viseart Dark Mattes palette. This palette, okay, it's really, really nice. I really do enjoy it, and this one's gonna be easy for me to pick. It is definitely this mac and cheese shade, and it's definitely like this greeny brown shade. So let's go ahead and swatch them. I actually just recently did a look using these two shades. And that's how I personally know that a shade is my favorite from a palette. is because every time I open up the palette, I literally want to use those shades. So super enjoying this palette. I hope to continue to get more use out of it this fall and winter so that I can get some damage. I want to see some actual usage like imprints on this palette by the end of hopefully the year. Then we have a palette that I had to finagle because there was a lot of hard pan. And this is my Misha Lou Witchcraft palette. The color scheme was beautiful. The formula, not so much. I did not like the mattes from this palette. They ended up having a lot of hard pan after continuous use, but I will say the metallics are outstanding. So all of the mattes that I have specifically in my palette are from Juvias Cosmetics, and the metallics are actually originally from this palette. So for me, I have two favorites, and I'm gonna go with the shades that are actually from this palette, and they're Magic. Magic is like a super crumbly metallic, but it's so pretty, and the other one is White Witch. So these are gonna be the two that I'm gonna swatch. And these are the two metallics. And there you go. Super pretty shadows. I really enjoy their metallic formula, but I'm telling you guys, those mattes were trash. And I saw that Paulina Beauty got like a revamped palette, and she even said the revamped was trash too. So I wouldn't highly recommend that palette, but it is a palette I have in my collection, and since I do enjoy the shades that I have and the color scheme that I have now, I'm gonna keep it. Okay, next we're gonna talk about a palette that I actually have in my eyes today, which is the ABH Norvina 3. And this is what she looks like. So for me, it's very interesting. I enjoy this palette, but I'm not overly in love with it. And the shadows that I think I'm going to choose for this one is C4, which is a really deep burgundy, and D2. Those are the two shades every time I open up this palette I do think about using, and I actually enjoy using them. There are other shadows that I think about using, and I'm not too thrilled after I use them, so I generally switch in the middle of usage. But those are those two shadows. I think they're beautiful, really nicely pigmented and all that, and yeah, good to go. I don't know if I would recommend this. Honestly, I don't think I would recommend it because the shades that I really looked for to actually be able to use that a lot, they just ain't kicking it. All right, then we have my Beautywide Seasons palette, and I love this palette. I love this palette so much, and I get so much use out of it. I'm really happy I brought this in my collection, and this is going to be a tough one because there are 3 shadows that every time I open up this palette I reach for, and I have all 3 of them on my eyes today. So what we finna do, we're gonna do one matte and one shimmer. So I already know the shimmer. What matte am I gonna do? Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna do this metallic. It's like a burgundy metallic, and I'm gonna do this matte. My honorary mention is this baby up here. It's like a really deep brown with an extremely strong green undertone. Okay, so, ooh, child, I almost watched the wrong thing. So, like I said, it was hard to choose these two. Well, not the metallic. The metallic, super easy to choose, but it was hard to choose this matte over the other one. What I will say my favorite part about this matte is that it appears to be like a yellow in pan, but once you put it on your lids and you especially blend it with that honorary mention that I showed, it really shows the green undertone and like just how strong it is, and how it's like really just a very pale lime green. So I really enjoy that shade, and I would highly recommend this palette. Unfortunately, last time I went to go link it, I couldn't find it, so who knows, hopefully I can find it this time. Next I have another ABH palette, and this is the Subculture. I have my original version. I know it doesn't work for a lot of people, but honestly it just takes a little bit more blending. You have to be more careful, and it doesn't bother me personally. So the two shadows that I am going to be swatching, I enjoy all of these shadows, but the two ones that I'm going to really highlight is Electric, and I'm also going to highlight Axis. Those are the two shades that pretty much every time I reach for this palette, I'm using those. So let's get a little bit of shadow. It's not going to be too hard to get a good swatch of these. And there you go. It looks really, really pretty. Everybody knows this. They swatch extremely well. And if you if you have the original, you know, you just have to be a little bit more careful. But in the grand scheme of things, that's alright. I also have my Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette, and I think this is actually a really nice fall palette, and I think I will be reaching for this in the fall. They have some really nice deep grungy tones, and for me, if I had to pick a favorite shade or some favorite shades, I think I would pick Fire Butts and Walking Stick. So Walking Stick is like a camel shade with a pretty strong green undertone, and then Fire Butts is just like a silver with a lot of green in it, or maybe it's green with a lot of silver in it, but either way there's some green and there's a silver, and I love it. So those are the two shadows up there swatched. Super enjoy those. And because I'm a genius, I forgot to get the very last palette, and it is my ABH Modern Wren. I have been getting even more product usage out of this baby, and I'm very happy. Got a couple new pans this year, and for me, the deeper tones in these burgundy tones is really what makes this a fall toned palette. I also have the Queen of Hearts palette, which is basically an equivalent of this. So I had this one closer. That's why I chose this one. So for me, what are the shades that are my favorite? I think it's going to be, honestly, Real Gar and Primavera. These are my two shades that I do reach for pretty consistently. I stopped using Real Gar because I didn't want to finish it before I actually, I just didn't want to finish it. Like, I wanted to keep the shadow as long as I could. Primavera, I pretty much always is my lid shade when I reach for this palette. So really nice palette. It's just getting old, and so I'm probably going to be decluttering it very soon, and I've gotten use out of it. You can see my palette is gross. But these are all the palettes. These are all the shades, with those two of course. And I think that I have a clear color scheme that I really lean for, which are greens, blues, and some warm tones, and I think that's pretty cool. Would you guys like to see a tutorial trying to like do like maybe a 3-looks-1 palette with all of these shades that I chose? Is that a thing you would like? If not, you know, I can do it by myself. No smoke, no sweat. But I would love to hear from you guys. Do you have palettes that you only really reach for 2 or 3 shadows every time you reach for it, but they are fall themed? Yeah, would you like to see any tutorials with any of these palettes? Let me know. I'd love to talk. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, y'all, it has been real.